Thank you for joining Jennifer Schaus and Associates in our 2019 Webinar Wednesday series. We are coming to you live from downtown Washington, D.C. Our webinars are held every Wednesday, and you can find the upcoming schedule on our website. Past webinars and all recordings are also on our website and on our YouTube channel, along with over 160 other recordings on federal contracting topics. All are complimentary. If you have questions for our speaker today, you can email her directly with the contact information you see on the last slide. Great, just a little bit about us. We are Washington, D.C.-based firm and provide services for federal contractors. This ranges from market analysis reports to proposal writing and also post-award compliance. More information is on our website, so please visit us. We offer advertising in our newsletters and in our webinars, so please email me if you have any questions or you want more information. And our webinar today is sponsored by AccuTrack, and here's a short message from them.
AccuTrack Consulting and Accounting Services is an 8A WOSB CPA firm committed to supporting entities to sustain growth in government contracting. Our outstanding DCAA accounting solutions reduce audit risk, improve cash flows, and give you peace of mind. Contact us today to learn how we can enhance your DCAA accounting efforts.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Our speaker today is Eileen Kent from Custom Keynotes Federal Sales Sherpa. And today we are going to be covering government contracting, what not to do. Eileen, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Mallory. Can you hit the first slide, please? So today we're going to talk about, we had what not to do a little earlier, but this section is what we're going to do, what to do. And the first thing we need to do is we must focus when we have our SAM record, we need to own it ourselves. A lot of times owners that get registered on SAM.gov, they go to someone else to have it registered. Now, there's great help that you can get, complimentary help, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And they are very helpful in getting your SAM record accurate, up to date, all the right North American classification codes and product service codes for you. But also they need to basically get that up there right for you. But once you're up there, every year you have to keep it up to date. And I would suggest that you make sure your information is up there and up to date every 6 months or so. Own your own SAM record. Know it inside out and backwards. It's free. It's the first registration point in doing business with the federal government. Next slide, please. Write only winners. If you're going to write a proposal, you want to make a promise to yourself and your team. Sure, you're going to lose some, but the goal here is only write proposals where you know the customer, you know what the customer's needs are, their preferences, their solutions. You need to come up with a bid, no bid process. And if you go through some of the webinar series that Jennifer Schaus has on her YouTube channel, I did another class right there just on bid, no bid process. And I bet a couple of other people have probably covered that as well. Have a fail-safe bid, no bid process where you're asking yourself things like, do we know the customer? What contract vehicle is it? Do we actually have these capabilities and the right teaming partners? Did we know this was coming? Were we anticipating it? What does it do? And then you also need to have a strong win theme when you go after a proposal. A strong win theme means that you know what the answer is to what they want. So for example, if they did a proposal out there or an RFP for a cake, well, you need to know what the occasion is, what their preferred taste buds are, what allergies they might have, where it's going to be delivered, how many people, you know, who's it for, what's the color of it, what's the theme. So you want to be able to have all this intel before you write a proposal. And if you don't know, then you're not going to win. So you want to be able to have a strong bid, no bid process, a good win theme. And if you don't do it perfectly, pass. You got to pass. Writing a loser proposal can cost a company between $65,000 and $100,000, especially if you put 4 people for 30 days up against a large proposal effort and you don't win. That is devastating for a team. So we only want you writing winners. Next slide, please. Start going out and selling. Develop relationships. Have people know who you are. Train your team how to sell, what to say, who to approach. Train them on how to pay attention for the tells when they're talking to their customers. I call it Govy speak. If they can hear what's not being said to them, or if something is being said in front of them, like two government employees are talking to each other based on a question that your salesperson asked, they might be sharing an inside joke and answering that question right in front of your salesperson. Your salespeople need to tune their ears to opportunities. Also, have a deep dive competitive analysis and contract data done for you. Find out who does buy what you sell, from whom and how. And then build an action plan around those few agencies that buy what you sell that you can focus on. And then get out there and start selling. Lead with your capabilities, close with your set-asides. Next slide, please. GSA is an agency of the government that works with companies and the pricing. And it takes a while for a company to get a GSA schedule, and Jennifer Schaus and Associates, their team, helps people with their GSA schedule applications. Now, GSA requires contractors for you to sell $25,000 across that GSA schedule within the first 2 years and every year thereafter. And if they don't, they're going to dismantle that GSA schedule. So you need to make sure that the clients that you're approaching are actually using GSA schedules to buy what you sell. Otherwise, you're going to be at zero sales. So the data is out there. Do your homework. You know, if they get paid, when you win a deal, you pay them a little bit less than 1%. So they're making money on every deal you do on GSA schedule. So they also want only winners selling through their schedule. So don't get a schedule unless you need one. And when you get one, get out there and sell and market it. Next slide, please. Thanks, Mallory. Only partners with primes who are winners. Do your homework once again. You can perform a competitive analysis in Federal Procurement Data System and look at what if people are approaching you to team and partner with you, you can do a background check on them on their Federal Procurement Data work. You need to interview them and also meet many times with them before you actually sign. It's kind of like dating. You need to get to know them and how they behave. You know, one time I went to an event with a potential teaming partner. It was a very important networking event. That teaming partner had a little bit too much to drink, and he was a little bit loose with the lips. He did not become my teaming partner after that event. So you want to be in different social scenarios with teaming partners to make sure they fit your company culture. Next slide, please. When hiring a consultant, like Jennifer, like myself, we invite you to do a background check. We invite you to call their customers, ask people on LinkedIn. You know, we want to work with people who want to work with us as well. So I highly recommend, before you sign a check to any consultant, do a complete background check on them. Go to the discussion groups on LinkedIn and see if anybody's heard of them. Connect with them on LinkedIn and see what their LinkedIn profile looks like. Look at their recommendations and see what people have given them thumbs up on. Look at their references. So do a background check on consultants before you send them money. I very much invite that you would do that for me. And I'm sure Jennifer's been around for a long, long time, and everybody knows her. Next slide, please. We like to say, if you lose a proposal, don't protest, but do ask for a debriefing. In fact, ask if you can ask for a debriefing. And during that debriefing, you want to turn it into a chance to sell. You know, some people write proposals to get their foot in the door, and that's what this is, getting your foot in the door. So the concept here is asking for a debriefing, and then during the debriefing, be clear that you're not going to protest them. Then they can tell the lawyers to leave the room and they can start talking to you about the next opportunity. The ultimate goal during a debriefing is to ask to be the backup vendor or anything else coming down the pipeline, and they might just tell you. Next slide, please. Respect the agreement with any prime contractors that are bringing you into an agency. sit down with them and make sure you know the terms of engagement with a prime, okay? Make sure, because some people say to me, oh, I'm starting to make friends with the customer and they want to work directly with me. You know what? Be careful, because you're going to get blackballed in this business if you start going around your primes. Now, if you want to call in another agency where your prime is not hanging out, that makes sense. But always make sure that you're all in agreement. Going behind your prime's back is not very cool. So you really want to make sure that you respect their agreement of the prime that you're working with. Next slide, please. I couldn't say more about this slide. No politics at all. No conversation about it, no sidebar conversations, no eye rolling, no tells. You need to be politically neutral when you're selling to the federal government. Absolutely. It will hurt your federal business if you are ringing the dinner bell on one side or the other when it comes to your political affiliations. In fact, I was recently at an event where one of the speakers, one of their customers was one of the parties. And they said, you know, we're trying to get out of this business in terms of doing business with the political affiliation. We want to do business with the federal government. And then he threw in a sidebar, you know, there's inappropriateness on both sides of the aisle. And I was just like, you know, palm in face. Don't talk about politics ever, not with another teaming partner, not with a customer inside the federal government, not online, and make sure your employees keep their opinions to themselves. And you might even want to make sure that you keep those kind of things quiet on Facebook as well, because it's very easy to see your posts. So I see some people posting on LinkedIn political posts, and it's really inappropriate. So especially if you're selling to the federal government, you're now neutral. Next slide, please. This is one of my favorite sayings. When selling to the federal government, manage their expectations. If they ask you to get something done in 3 days, let's say they ask you to send a proposal in and it's due tomorrow, but the delivery of whatever the product is 2 days from now, and there is no way you're going to be able to make it. You need to be really clear with that customer that that's not going to happen, and you'd rather pass on the opportunity altogether than to have a deadline date like that. And then, you know what? If they pick someone else and the other company tries to make that deadline date, they'll probably fall on their face. And guess what? They're going to come back to you and work with you with reasonable deadlines. So what I like to do when I'm taking care of my customers is I like to under promise. Like, for example, when I'm data dipping in federal procurement data system for my clients, you know, I can't control the data because it's data that somebody else put in. But I'm going to do my very best to go get what's available. But if it's not available, it's not available. But if I say I'm going to do 5 or 6 data dips, I usually do 10. So I always like to under-promise and over-deliver every single time. And if there's a problem, bring it to their attention as soon as possible and see if you can figure it out together. So that's always critical, is be very open with your clients and let them know. Be yourself. So those are my 10 to-dos for this week. You saw your not to-dos a little bit earlier in the last meeting. But thank you very much, Jennifer Schaus and Mallory, for this opportunity to work with you. And there's my information. I just wanted to throw out there, I have another email address, EileenKentStevens@gmail.com as well. So if this email doesn't forward over to me to that email address, you can email me directly at EileenKentStevens@gmail.com as well. There's my phone number. You can call me anytime. So thank you, Mallory.
Thank you, Eileen, for sharing your knowledge and insight today. Today's presentation has been recorded and can be found on our website or YouTube channel within about 48 hours. If you have questions about today's topic, please contact Eileen at the phone number or email shown on your screen. Thank you, everybody. This concludes the webinar.